For 150 years, no one dared spread the Dragon Lady's wings. He did, and froze at the eye. The archives spoke of her in whispers. A figure half forgotten by history, trapped in stone, cursed, or preserved by alien hands. They called her the Dragon Lady. And for 150 years, she remained sealed within the crystalline ruins of the moon called a Raven 9, her massive wings folded tightly against her back, webbed with veins of obsidian glass. Expeditions had come and gone, scientists and scavengers both, yet none had dared unfurl those wings. Until Cale arrived, beginning the ruins of a Raven 9. Cale Corin was not a historian. He wasn't even a scientist, not in the way the Central Core defined the word. He was a drifter with a knack for old machines, a salvager who traveled the rim worlds looking for forgotten things to sell to richer men. But when he stumbled across the oral logs of the Syndril expedition, detailing a stasis-locked figure hidden beneath the ice layers of a Raven 9, curiosity outweighed profit. Why had no one ever freed her? That question burned in him more than the thought of credits. A Raven 9 was a frozen moon orbiting the gas giant Kethros. Jagged glaciers scarred its surface, and its ruins were said to predate humanity's colonization of the system by thousands of years. The Syndril expedition had discovered the chamber, a vast cavern of crystal, glowing faintly with alien bioluminescence. At its heart, encased in a sarcophagus of living stone, was a woman with draconic wings folded neatly around her body. Cale landed his battered freighter, the Ember's Wake, on the moon's surface during the long eclipse cycle when sunlight could not pierce the atmosphere. He descended with only a heat lantern, his respirator fogging with each breath. The chamber was easy to find. The expedition logs had marked it precisely. There she was. Her body looked human, though larger, stronger, with scaled ridges running across her skin like molten silver frozen midflow. The wings wrapped around her like armor, their edges sharp as blades. She was beautiful, terrible, and unsettlingly alive despite the centuries. Cale reached out, pressing a gloved hand to the crystal. It pulsed faintly at his touch, like a heartbeat. He pulled back. No one had dared spread those wings. Every record, every note, ended with the same warning. She stirs when touched. Do not wake her. Cale was not a man who listened to warnings well. Middle, the awakening. The first attempt was clumsy. He used a plasma cutter, trying to chip at the edges of the crystalline cocoon. The material resisted harder than any alloy. Then, as though aware of his intent, the sarcophagus began to unravel of its own accord, the crystal peeling back like petals of flower. Cold air flooded the cavern, so sharp it burned. The Dragon Lady's wings twitched. Cale froze. His instincts screamed to run, yet his legs locked in place. The wings shifted further, each scale glowing faintly with blue fire. He saw now that the webbing was not solid but patterned with constellations, tiny fractal shapes that resembled stars. Her eyes opened. They were not human eyes. Twin pools of molten silver fixed on him, and for a moment Cale felt as though his very mind was being stripped bare, every memory laid open. The voice echoed in his skull, not through air, are not of the architects. Cale swallowed hard. No, I'm just... Then why do you touch what is forbidden? He struggled for words. Because no one else dared. Her wings flexed wide for the first time in a century and a half, and Cale stumbled back, overwhelmed by the sheer size of them. As they spread, light flooded the cavern, so bright it seared through his visor. He dropped to one knee, blinded, unable to breathe. And in that moment, a terrible understanding gripped him. The wings were not merely limbs. They were a weapon. Images filled his head. Planets burning, fleets torn apart, civilizations falling under the shadow of those wings. He saw her soaring across alien skies, her wings scattering storms of fire and ice. She was not simply preserved. She was imprisoned. The past unfolds. When Cale's sight cleared, he found her standing free of the cocoon. She was taller than him by a head, her movements smooth, predatory. You have broken the seal, she said. It cannot be undone. Cale backed away. Who? What are you? She tilted her head, silver eyes glinting. I am called Sereveth, last of the winged progeny. The architects feared me, so they bound me beneath ice and stone. For 150 years, I have slept. Cale forced himself to steady his breathing. Why did they fear you? Her smile was haunting. Because I carried their wars too well. My wings were crafted not for flight, but for annihilation. He thought of the visions. Entire worlds erased in flashes of light. Your weapon? I was their blade, she said simply. Cale glanced at his gear, calculating whether he could escape the chamber alive. But something kept him rooted, an awful fascination. What happens now? He asked. That depends. Her gaze lingered on him. You touched the seal. You broke my chains. By architect law, that makes you my bonded. You're what? You chose, she said. And now you must decide if the galaxy shall tremble again. Conflict, the choice. For days, Kale remained on a raven, 9 with her. Saraveth did not eat, did not sleep. She only walked the ruins, wings dragging lines of frost wherever they brushed. She spoke of her people, the winged progeny, engineered to serve as generals and weapons for a race long vanished. He learned that the wings were lattice structures of quantum matter, able to tear space itself when fully unfurled. The constellations within them were not symbols but coordinates, gateways to destruction already encoded. Kale's nights were haunted by dreams not his own, flashes of burning fleets, alien screams, firestorms sweeping cities. Yet in quiet moments, she seemed almost human. She asked about his world, about music, about laughter. He told her of drifting between colonies, fixing ships, living by scraps. She listened, head tilted, as though trying to understand something long denied her. But the tension grew. Other ships began to detect strange energy spikes from a Raven 9, scavenger guilds, corporate fleets, the core itself. Soon they would come, and if they discovered Saraveth awake, they would seek either control her or to destroy her. You cannot hide me, she said one night, her wings folded like a shroud. Not from them. They will burn this moon to ash before they let me walk free. Kale stared at her across the campfire. Then we run. Her eyes softened. You would run with me? Better than letting them chain you again. Or worse. Her expression shifted. Something fragile. Something almost tender. But then the cavern shook, alarms blaring from Kale's risken soul. A fleet was descending. The invasion. Corporate dropships broke through the clouds, engines howling. Dozens of armored soldiers poured into the ice canyon, weapons glowing with antimatter charges. At their center strode a figure Kale recognized. Commander Draylen of the Helix Consortium, a man known for enslaving alien relics for profit. Step aside, salvager, Draylen called. That creature belongs to us now. Kale's pulse hammered. He looked at Saraveth. Her wings twitched, glowing faintly, as though yearning to spread again. Don't, Kale whispered. If you fight them, they will kill you, she said. They'll kill both of us. The soldiers advanced. Draylen lifted his gauntlet, signaling. Fire. The cavern erupted with light as volleys of antimatter tore toward them. Kale dug for cover, heat searing his back. He screamed her name, Saraveth, but when he looked up, his breath caught. Her wings were fully spread. Time itself seemed to freeze. The constellations within her wings flared, forming shapes that bent the cavern around them. The antimatter bolts hung motionless midair, then dissolved into glittering dust. The soldiers stumbled, panicked. One dropped his rifle and fled. Draylen stared, horror-stricken. Gods above. Saraveth's voice rang out like thunder. For 150 years, you feared this moment. Now it comes again. Energy surged outward from her wings. Not fire, not ice. Something deeper. A collapse of space. A tearing reality. The soldiers were flung aside like shadows, their armor crumbling to ash. The dropships in orbit screamed warnings before vanishing in bursts of silent light. Kale fell to his knees, blinded by the radiance. When it passed, only silence remained. The cavern was cracked, its walls scorched with impossible patterns. Saraveth stood in the center, wings still outstretched. And Kale understood the truth. She had not shown her full power. She had only given them a glimpse, ending the decision. After the battle, Kale confronted her. If you keep doing that, if you keep fighting, the whole galaxy will burn. Saraveth folded her wings slowly, her gaze unreadable. Then what would you have me do, bonded? Crawl back into the ice. No! He stepped closer, trembling but resolute. Learn, live, be more than what they made you. Her eyes narrowed. And if they come again, then we'll face them together, he said. But not by becoming the monster they fear. For a long time, she studied him. Then, for the first time, her wings shimmered, not with warlight, but with something softer, like dawn breaking. You are strange, she murmured. To chain a weapon not with fear, but with choice. Kale exhaled, relief flooding him. They left a raven, 9 together aboard the Ember's wake. Behind them, the ruin sank into silence once more. The galaxy would whisper rumors. That the dragon lady had awoken, that her wings had spread after a century and a half of fear. Fleets would hunt them, governments would curse them, scavengers would dream of fortunes. But for now, aboard a rusted freighter drifting among the stars, Sereveth folded her terrible wings and sat beside the only human who had dared touch them. And Kale, though terrified of what might come, felt something stir in his chest. Not fear, not awe, hope, because he had seen what happened when her wings spread, and he believed he could help her choose a different future.